Well, Gaffer, we'll start with the news that you've signed a new contract at the club. First of all, what are your feelings on that and why now?
Really pleased. It's something that the club put to me probably about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and as I've said, I'm happy at the club. I think it's a club that's going in the right direction, and it's a pleasure to work for the owners and the board, and then it's obviously a pleasure to work with the staff and the players here. So for me, it was an easy decision. We just want to kick on now, and now that it's done and it's sorted, try and achieve what is the ultimate aim.
We'll get back onto that in a moment, but first of all, we obviously haven't seen you much in the last couple of weeks. How are you feeling?
I've been down really poorly. I don't want no pity off you because I know I won't get any. But no, I was in a bad way. I was probably just started to recover, but then I decided to go to the Stockport game, and that probably set me back 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I've not been in a great place. Matty Harrold's been in a similar position, nearly getting there now, probably about 80%. So thank God it's over with.
We're back in and obviously ready to go after a slight break in the fixture schedule as well. But firstly, kind of looking back at your time here, how do you kind of assess how things have gone since that first game you come into where we are now?
I don't think it could have gone any better. If you would have told us that Quickly would have achieved our safety last season, then we would have took it. Sorry. And then if you would have, the aim this year was to get in the top 7. So the position that we're in and the points tally that we've got from the games that we've played is exceptional, and credit goes to the players. So everything's ahead of schedule, and that's why you sign a new contract. That's why you want players who are out of contract in the summer, you want them to to sign a new contract as well. And hopefully in the next 4 or 5 weeks we can get a couple of players, because I think we've got a really good squad going forward, a squad that is capable of getting promotion from this league, and then a squad capable of kicking on in League One.
Obviously every manager wants to try and build that squad in their own image and the way that they want to play. You've only had the one transfer window, but would you say that this team now is starting to reflect you?
I like to think so, in terms of the personality and the character that the players have. And even though we've only had one transfer window and we've signed 4 or 5 players, we have kept Theo, who was already here. We have given Adam Thompson new contracts. We would like to give 4 or 5 other players new contracts. So I have spoke about the recruitment in the past. I think has been good, and I think we've got a lot of foundations that are set in a really good starting position when I came in, and we want to carry that forward. I think we've got a lot of players that are capable of playing a higher level, and we need to prove that.
Been at a lot of clubs in your career as a player and as a manager now as well. What about Leyton Orient is it that you like so much and has maybe brought you the success?
The people. It's different as a player. When I was a player, I was quite selfish. I just thought about myself. And how much money I was being paid, and if I was manager was picking me, and I was very, very selfish, like a lot of football players are. But when you go into coaching and managing, then obviously you have to look after the whole group. And when I was at Swindon, I had a dressing room, I had a club that fit the way that I wanted to play. I absolutely adored the players I had there, but then COVID happened and I lost all the players, and I've been searching for a dressing room like that since. And I feel as though I've found it here. The players and the characters that we've got, the drive, determination to improve and get better, not only individually. Like I say, players are quite selfish, but also for the club and the group. So I feel privileged to manage these players, and like you say, any manager wants a team to reflect their own personal qualities. I think in our dressing room, they do reflect me really, really well.
Every kind of job you learn different things. Looking at Leyton Orient so far, what have you learned about yourself?
I'm really proud of the way that it's gone. Really proud. I took over a club in Doncaster where probably should have never took it. And people then question you, and people label players that you haven't signed or injury situations. You get labelled with that. So then you have to have thick skin. You have to recover from it. So I like to think that I've recovered well from it. I do feel that my character and personality, I do have thick skin, and I can come back from disappointments. But no, I do think that I've come into a club that is very, very stable in terms of the ownership, and the people that I work for are good people. And then I feel quite fortunate that I come into a situation where it wasn't great, where we was in the league, but I do think that the squad was really, really capable, and they've shown that.
As you mentioned there, do you think maybe having that bit of a point to prove when you come in kind of helped the way things have gone?
Well, I couldn't wait to, when I got sacked from Doncaster, sorry, it's not like I wanted a break. I had a quick break, probably 2 or 3 weeks, but I wanted to get straight back in because I felt I felt aggrieved. I felt like I was thrown under the bus. So I was a wounded animal. So obviously when you feel like you're thrown under the bus and not supported, then you wanna get back out and get in the next job. And I felt this was a good job for me, and so far it's gone well. But like I say, it's only a start.
Also, one of the things you mentioned when you come in, kind of address the disconnect, I guess, between the supporters and the team itself. Obviously, the team had been on quite a long winless run at that time. I think since that time, it's been fair to say that you've kind of helped that connection grow again, be that from performances on the field and things off the field as well.
Yeah, I think that's a quality that I have. I've got an ability to do that. I did it really, really well at Swindon. When I took over at Swindon, the attendances were 5,000. When I left, it was 13,000. And then at Salford and Doncaster, he was still recovering from COVID, where we didn't work for any supporters. We came to the ground where, no one was there, and it was really, really difficult. You see the way that I want to play football, and the crowd is important to the way that I want to play. When you press and you get your rewards, the crowd give you energy and you can continue doing it. When it was no supporters, it was really, really difficult to lift the players. So ever since my first home game against Rochdale, I've felt this connection with the supporters, and I have to say that from that day, that every single home game has been really, really good place to work, really good environment for our players to play in, and the supporters have been a massive part of that.
There's a long way to go, obviously, in the season. Orient top of the table at the moment, but obviously a lot of hurdles to come. It's going to be a difficult few months coming up ahead. So what's your kind of message to the group at this stage?
The grind's going to come. The grind hasn't even started yet. The grind's going to come. As you can sense from me, I've not felt great the last 2 weeks. Players are going to feel ill, loss of form, suspensions, fatigued. And the grind of November, December and January is going to come. So we think we're in a really good place. No injuries, touch wood at the moment, apart from Rob Hunt, who's close to returning. But I'm quite experienced at this now, so I know what's coming. And sometimes when you know what's coming, it can help you. You can start seeing signs early on and prevent things happening before they've actually happened. So I'm quite comfortable where we're at, and I know what's around the corner, I know what's coming. So the experience and the processes that you go through that put you in this position to help the players through that.
So there's a deal till 2025, and in football we don't like getting ahead of ourselves and talking about things that haven't happened. But in terms of Leyton Orient as a club and the potential it has, what do you think you can achieve here?
I think it's really a lazy answer if I just said try and get into the Championship. I think it's really difficult, but I don't think it's difficult to get into the top 10 of League One. I think this is a club capable of that. I actually looked something the other day of the average attendances in the clubs of clubs in League One, and if we average our attendance this season to the clubs in League One, we'd be in the top 12, 13. So if we went into League One and we had more away supporters, then our attendance, it's very viable that we can be a really successful League One club. It's been there before with Russell Slade in the playoffs. So I think the answer to your question would be, let's try and get in around the top 10 of League One clubs. And once you get in there, you never know, you might get into the playoffs one year and strike lucky and get in. It's a tough league, the Ipswiches, the Sunderlands who have just gone up, the Boltons, it's some really big clubs. So I think if you're consistently in and around the top 10 of League One, it gives you a chance to then get promoted to the Championship.
And then just finally then, obviously, everyone can see you're now on board with the club for that little bit longer. So what would your message be to our supporters ahead of the rest of the season?
Just continue to support myself and the staff and the players the way that you have been. But no, I've felt the warmth from day one. And, just continue supporting the players, continue to come in your numbers, especially away from home and at home. And, it feels good. The club is on the up, and it feels like we're going to achieve something successful this year. So just continue what you're doing.